Phone Joke Vlog.
Okay, we're at the end of this crazy train. After much protest, my mom checked out The Rise of Skywalker from the library in glorious 480p DVD, and the dark side compelled me to watch. I previously held up a GoPro and ranted, and then had a breakdown in a park. Let's wrap this journey up with yet another change of format. A review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, done with lazy animation. It's difficult to hate The Rise of Skywalker after the bar being lowered to such an extent by the previous two entries. At this point, it's hard to say that something could possibly happen to make you more upset with the series. You expect things to go off the rails, and they do. Look, I'm not mad if I go to McDonald's and they don't have steak. There was a time when you expected Star Wars to have steak, but now you go to Star Wars for the Cactus Jack meal, which is the lesser items they used to have, only repackaged for Zoomers. In typical J.J. Abrams fashion, the plot follows a MacGuffin daisy chain. Word has gotten out that Kylo Ren visited the Sith homeworld that we're only now hearing about. No one can find it without a wayfinder, but there's a Jedi hunter who we think had a clue on where to find one. You follow the characters around, and before you can think about the plot not adding up, there's a new element thrown into the mix to distract. Why is Lando Calrissian still hanging out on a desert planet where he said he was tracking a Jedi hunter with Luke Skywalker, assumedly decades ago? Oh look, Kylo's TIE fighter. Audiences are beginning to see through this. The diversity and girl empowerment agenda is less upfront. Or maybe that's just the new normal and we don't realize it so much. Sure, all the new characters are strong women who pop up to tell you how tough they are. Felicity joins Daft Punk. There's a new black chick ex-stormtrooper for Finn to talk to, kicking Rose Tico back to the depths of Lieutenant Connix. C-3PO is given quite a bit to do, all in the name of stopping the plot. After retrieving the Jedi Hunter's dagger clue, Translator 3PO's programming forbids him to interpret its markings. How convenient. But that's not all of the uselessness. R2-D2 and BB-8 do absolutely nothing. A new droid even smaller than BB-8, but equipped with the ability to speak, shows up to sell toys. And a black market hacker shouts like a porg. Still, The Rise of Skywalker is not as bad as The Last Jedi.
Oh, come on. It was pretty good. Not bad, pretty bad, actually.
The Force has become far more powerful over the course of this trilogy. Makes you wonder what Yoda was teaching. It used to be a Jedi could lift a light object, jump higher, perhaps even run fast. The Force can now allow for space flight and survival, interactive Zoom meetings, the launching of a fleet of spacecrafts, heal wounds, and even revive the dead. It's the difference between saying a character has the power of Gambit, only to become Dr. Manhattan. Did I say this wasn't as bad as The Last Jedi?
To be honest, I wasn't paying attention. I was watching Red Letter Media talk about Star Wars.
There's a fallacy in the plot that's going to bother you the more you think about it. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has a chat with Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, the guy who Darth Vader died taking out is still knocking around because evidently that Emperor was a clone. It's nothing for a hack like Jar Jar Abrams to undercut the work of those who came before him. It's actually expected. Abrams continues to mitigate the accomplishments of the original Star Wars heroes so that flawless Rey can have a bigger success. She literally claims to have the power of all the Jedi, and in doing so is able to defeat the real Emperor. But this is better than The Last Jedi, right?
You have hair on your back, the same place I do.
There's a face turn for Kylo Ren that shows how he's the most compelling character and that Adam Driver is the better actor. I actually like the reveal that Rey is a Palpatine, and how the ancestors of the two sides must come together. But you knew there would have to be some Deus Ex means for Kylo to die. There's no way the killer of Han Solo was going to survive the Disney trilogy. There's a point during the climactic fight where I totally gave in to the stupidity. I was expecting it. Let's just see where this goes. And the fan service callbacks became welcoming. Rey hears the voices of Jedi's past. Or is it Jedi past? Jedi past. Lando pilots the Millennium Falcon, and here's where things really hit me. Wedge Antilles has entered the chat. The only remaining survivor of the original Star Wars trilogy, clearly the next trilogy will focus on his grandkids. Chewie finally gets a medal sans ceremony, there's a lesbian kiss for inclusion in the background, and Rey visits a Tatooine moisture farm for member berries. I get the impression that God Emperor Palpatine doesn't need Kylo nor Rey, probably could have force murdered them in their sleep, and that this movie was an exercise in exploitation and retconning. But since I'm picking my poison, I'll call this the best of the Disney trilogy, by a hair. There's plenty of inconsequential nonsense, but I was surprised and satisfied by some bigger revelations, only to be left adrift by others. I didn't see Rey being a Palpatine coming. Didn't need Finn leaving Rey hanging with this important "he needs to tell her something" either. You may think The Rise of Skywalker ruins the accomplishments of the original trilogy by making Darth Vader's sacrifice irrelevant, and that's entirely true, but The Force Awakens already made our heroes out to be incompetent leaders who failed to restore the Galactic Republic and allowed the First Order to take over. Don't blame Episode 9 entirely. The damage had already been done. I give Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, 2 out of 4 stars.
If you appreciate a YouTube channel that doesn't just pad out content to get to the 8-minute mark so that it can hammer you with ad breaks, then you should subscribe to my son's channel. You just got done watching it.